What's up guys, this is Cher talking, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'll be making a full review for the Ultra Deluxe Blue and Time Lord banner. We have Blue, that is a buffer that can increase damage potential of mages and buff intelligence to the party, while also decreasing shadow damage. Time Lord is a character that can apply evasion to the team, only 5 times per battle. And Nusakan is a support character that can remove debuffs applied to the team and also remove buffs that a boss can apply to itself. Well, Nusakan is a platinum unit and will just be added later to the platinum pool, while Time Lord and Blue are limited and will only rerun much later when we get the UDX banner updated with new off banners. I'll talk about Blue first because he gives the name to the banner and I know everyone wants to know about this character. We got a summer version of Blue recently that is a very strong column farmer, but the good thing is that the newest Blue does not need this one. Although it just gives some inheritances, this new Blue is just standalone. As you can see, we have 80% endurance, 110% will. Those are good values for fights, and he will usually be used alongside mages that have high will. His agility is not that good for a buffer, could be better for current standards, but intelligence is pretty nice with 117%. Love and charisma are a little above average because he can also inherit heal spells. The first passive is called Kingdom Stitching. On the start of a turn, he will give Elemental Guard against shadow damage, decreasing damage taken by 25%. Lasts for 1 turn, but it gives every new turn. And also, by the end of a turn, he gets 2 BP. This is important for his cycles. The second one is called Offensive Union Tree. When all allies are alive, it will increase the damage potential for everyone in the team by 15%, including himself. Then we have High Protection, increasing damage potential by 20%, and when he's attacked, damage taken will be reduced by 30%. So his damage potential is only 35%, and he decreases damage taken by at least 30 and another 25 if it's a shadow attack. The good thing is that he's a team player. He gives 15% to everyone for damage and also decreases damage for shadow for everyone as well. Well, the first skill is called Light Asteroids. For 5 BP we have an S-Power attack with 39 mod. We started getting 6 BP skills with S-Power and 39 mod, kinda like in the 6 months ago. And now we have it even cheaper with 5. Not just that, before he attacks, he buffs his own intelligence by up to 25% on max level, and then he attacks. This will feel like a double S power attack because of buffing before attacking. And this is good because he can actually use the skill anytime he wants, since he's a 5 BP character. Now, the second skill is his selling point. Enhanced Magic is a support fast skill that can only be used 5 times per battle, and this does not need to be leveled up, and grants the target Enhanced Sorcery. This is just a different name for a heat up that increases damage by 50% for the whole fight. Well, 5 times per battle, you can choose the same target to just increase to 150% damage potential for a character. But Enhanced Sorcery only works for spells. So your character needs to be a mage or a hybrid to take advantage. Remember that in order to be a spell, the icon of the skill, like here, needs to be elemental, like Blue himself. So, in order to discuss a little of the utility of this, well, I think I will just go and get a look on Bertrand, because he's one of the characters that will benefit the most of this buff. Well, let's see what Bertrand has to offer. He has this High Protection, so only 20% damage increase, right? Then Clarity of Mind for a total of 40, right? That's not that big. But Bertrand is a character with very good damage potential because of many different reasons. The first, he buffs intelligence by 20% when he gets hit. So if your boss has a AoE attack that he uses all turns or multiple hit attacks, Bertrand will buff a lot. His damage potential itself, by looking on the passives, is not that high. But Bertrand can chase as well when he's attacking with 2 different skills that also heals him. And he can counter and create defense boost and attack boost. He is very strong, and I made a video showcasing him. So what happens in this situation? This character itself does not have that many damage passives. You will give him 250%. So Bertrand stacked with so many intelligence buffs, will do more than double the damage. That's right, Bertrand is one of the characters that would benefit the most of this. 250% is not a direct upgrade like the number says, because there's a lot of things to consider when calculating damage. The weapon that you are using, the will of the enemy, your intelligence, so all these things will matter. But since most of the buffers in the game are based on just status buffs, Blue will just help a lot. He can also be used with another character that's pretty strong right now, that also gives damage increase, and that one is Gustave. Well, from Let's Paint Gustave, we have this skill that will give you attack boost, increasing damage by 20%. This will stack, and he also gives morale up, increasing damage by 40. So when you use it together, it will just make it even better. But, well, we have to understand that in the end, this character will kind of make your mages a sort of Leon. Why? Because Leon has Wind Revolver. Remember that he needs to load before he even starts attacking. In the case of the first Leon, you can do this in 4 turns. In the case of the second Leon, you have to do this 5 turns. So, well, damage will just happen on that point. But there's something interesting about Blue, because you will be using Enhanced Magic on turn 1, right? Let's say you are using that on Bertrand. Bertrand will already start doing more damage. And then, by the end of the usage number 3, your Bertrand will already be similar to almost double power. On the forecast, I can guarantee that he will be doing much more than he actually started, and by the end of the turn number 5, he will be doing a lot. Bertrand will get some increases as well by his own attack boosts, so that's why the translation is not so easy to understand, but, well, in the end, let's say that Bertrand gets double power. The good thing is that right on start, Blue is already increasing his damage potential. So, on turn 1, he's already doing more, turn 2 more, turn 3 more, while when we compare this to Leon, Leon only starts doing damage by turn 5 or turn 6. So that's interesting with Blue. The problem is just that we don't have that many really strong mage nukers to take full advantage. Some people will say that Miriam is an example. Because of her summer style, she has wild fireballs, and she has a 37% chance to chase with another wild fireballs, but this has a gimmick between 1 to 6 hits, so you can get pretty high damage and sometimes just get normal damage. Then another very strong mage nuker that we have is Global X Rouge. Well, and this Global X Rouge will be very good because he also has a chase mechanic. Blue has a 37% chance to chase with Everlasting Butterflies, and then 25% to chase with Blowing Fireworks. And if you inherit from his other style, you have Darkness Bolt, that is an attack that also buffs intelligence. Like I said, characters that buffs their own status will just do better, because now that you have so many damage passives, having status buffs will help you do more damage. Another contender for this strategy will be Rock Bouquet. In her newest style, she has a very nice cycle because of Gobi Hook Switch that gives her attack boost, defense boosts, and she can keep using this skill called Lightning of Darkness that has additional effects like debuffing the enemy's will, so that she will even do more damage and also just apply attack down. That's actually the same case with Rouge because his Darkness Bolt also debuffs will. So these are kinda the best mages that we can actually use together with Rouge right now. We'll get more characters to use with him in the future, but the thing is, the best damage dealers right now in the game are still Liam, Silver, Schuzer, and right now also Arthur. They are a little stronger than the mage competition. So, even though the strategy is very good, you will still feel like you're not using a real strong nuker that could be a little better. Blue works, but we need better mage nukes to just get the right benefit of this strategy. Bertrand is a good contender, like I said, but he relies on getting hit in order to buff his own intelligence and reach the potential of our stronger nukers. So it will depend on the scenarios, but it's also very nice to have something like this. Blue is pretty unique. Moving on, the last skill is called Super Glitter. For 10 BP, you have a full AoE attack that deals some damage with a power, 31 mod, and before he even attacks, he buffs his own intelligence by up to 30% on max level. And then he attacks. So this will feel more close to an S power attack, and it's nice because if you are bringing him for Fight Horizon, for example, you will be attacking on wave 1 and then wave 3. Well, like I said, Blue is a pretty standalone character. He does not need inheritance, but I do believe that from his Lunar New Year style, Healing Light makes sense if you need to heal someone that's gonna die or someone that just died and you want to revive. But from his Summer style, you're just gonna give it inheritance options, but it makes no much sense to inherit, for example, Chained Sunbeam because this is 8 PP, it will break his cycle. And there is also this Sunbloom Pillar that is just too much BP cost for just healing. In the end, he already has enough BP to just keep using all the skills he has access to. You could say that he can also buff himself in order to just, well, attack with light asteroids. But I don't think that's a really good idea, because if you are buffing Blue, he's not doing damage right now. He will only do on turn 6 and beyond. If you are buffing someone else, he will take benefit from buffs right on turn 1. That means that you are getting more value out of it. And once Blue uses all 5 charges of Enchant's magic, he will start using light asteroids to buff intelligence and increase the damage of this character even further. So he was made to be used like this, and that's actually a pretty good support and strategy. Blue is pretty strong and will just become useful if you have Matriarch with Piano of Victory, Melissa with her buffs as well, to make mage dedicated squads. It's just that right now those are not the strongest squad types, but as soon as you get more options, Blue will shine more. He will receive a triple S grade. He's not a must-have character, but one that is very good to have. The next character is Time Lord, and well, this Time Lord has the highest agility right now, 120% intelligence as well, but he's not really a damage dealer. 71% endurance, like most mages, not that good, and his will is strangely low for a mage. Well, moving on. Passive number 1, Resolve of the Mind. Start the fight with 11 BP and gets 2 BP on the end of a turn. That's the same one as the latest Matriarch. That's actually pretty nice, and he needs this to cycle his skills the way that he wants. Then we have Tidal Magical Blessings. It reduces damage taken for all allies. It's his medium effect, and here we have a problem. Why? Because medium effect is the same ones as Constance passive. She has this here, Overflowing Joy, but it has an additional effect, so it's 10%, we tested. But medium effect is the same one that you also find in Gustav, for example, tank version, where we have Screw War, remember? But this one decreases damage taken by 20%. Well, we suppose it is 10% because of having multiple effects, but we'll test this out. We are assuming 10% for now. And he will also increase the action order effect for all allies. This is permanent. This just allows you to attack faster without affecting your agility. It's kind of useless most of the time unless you really need to go before your enemy. It's always better to just buff agility if you can, because that will allow you to evade some attacks, even though it's not so easy right now. And then on the start of a turn, he will buff all surviving allies' agility and intelligence by 5%. From turn 4 onwards, that will feel like a 12.5% buff to this status to everyone. That's good because it's passively, you don't need to use any active skill, and well, it's free. Then we have High Protect Tension, decreasing damage taken by 30% and increasing damage potential by 20%. Like I said, he's not a real damage dealer, that's why he only has 20% damage increase. But at least 30% damage reduction and 10% more, assume it. Then let's go to skills. The first one, Delay Aura, is a free spell that has a chance to buff the enemy agility while still doing damage. This is kind of an upgrade over his past strategy where he had delay order. This one decreases by 20% in its support, so the enemy cannot evade, but it was 2 VP. Right now he's also doing damage while trying to debuff by 15%. Well, if you can debuff agility and you need to debuff agility, this is actually okay. Then the second one is Power Grab. This is a pretty old skill already. C power only 5 VP cost that recovers HP for around 1000 and also debuffs the enemy STR by 15% on max level. The thing here is that this will always work. It's not a chance, it's a guarantee as long as he hits, but since his agility and intelligence has a very nice value, he won't miss. Then the third one is called Chrono Drive, and this is his selling point. For 10 VP you have a fast single target attack with double S power, that's not that strong, and then he will grant all surviving allies full evasion that lasts for 1 turn. That evasion is for only 1 hit. And here we have to compare this guy to the latest version of Byunei that still has an active banner, and I think it's actually pretty cool that they did this, but only if you are a patient person, because you could just wait till you started summon on Byunei banner, because that's usually the best approach. Wait 1 week, see the next banner, and then start pulling. Because you could just decide if you want to go for Byunei or for Time Lord. More about the banner companions as well. Byunei has 6 VP per turn and she has a double S power attack with 12 VP cost where she deals damage and applies damage block. Damage block will negate 1 hit, just like the evasion, but there's just one difference between those two. You can still be inflicted with ailments and debuffs when you are just blocking, while when you are fully evading, you will not be inflicted with ailments. That's the difference between those two. But for the most time, they would just be very similar value, with Time Lord having a little better type. So, both can use every 2 turns, but there's one big difference between the two. Well, Time Lord also uses 1 LP. That means that he starts with 6, he can use this 5 times, and he gets in danger. While Byunei doesn't need that. She would just use her skill and keep using as long as you want. Well, there's one interesting thing here. Byunei is weaker defensively by passives. She can only have 20% by using an active skill, while we have at least minus 30 and then minus 10 with Time Lord. So if you have buffers to buff status, he will take less damage. That's important. But his wheel is pretty bad. He may get inflicted with ailments much faster than Byunei if you do not have buffers or multiply even in some situations. Now we have to kind of difference those two. Well, let's say you are in a fight that has multiple HP guards. So you're starting to get those types of challenges. And the fight will last for more than 10 turns. Byunei is the winner, always. Why? Because Time Lord is only useful for 10 turns. Actually, 9. Because, well, Time Lord, we use his evasion on turn 1, 3, 5, 7, and 9. And after that, his skills are usually not good enough for anything that he may offer in the party. While, let's say, Byunei, you have this going for as long as the fight goes, and she can also just apply morale down to the enemy, decreasing damage taken by 25%. So, on overall utility, Byunei is superior. She also has better inheritance. She can just use a full AoE heal that also gives 2 VP right now, and she will also be able to buff the party with a different style in the future. So when you compare those two styles, Byunei is the clear winner. Time Lord is good, yes he is, because he gives evasion, and they are actually side grades, with Byunei being better by the whole kit. We don't need to talk about inheritance because they just won't matter too much unless you really need, for example, to increase your action order even further in events like Turbulence War, where you have like 10 waves of enemies and then you want to increase the action order for some situations where you may just get inflicted with ailments and your buffers are too slow for the enemies. But this is very, very situational. And if you really want to apply Petrify, and there's also this skill that can debuff agility by quite a lot. as you can see here, 20%. But we already have better characters for this, I guess. So in the end, it's all about what he actually already has, and he's a useful character till turn 9. Besides that point, he is just limited. Hence why Time Lord will receive an SS plus grade, but that may change in the future and he may just be demoted faster than Byunei as time goes. Well, the last character is Nusakan. Remember, this is a Platinum style and a pretty good one, but you can already see from the status distribution that he suffers a little. Agility and intelligence are a focus and they are not even that high. His will is okay-ish in 83%, but his endurance is pretty bad. But he has something in his sleeve. First passive is called Mystic Power Tree. This happens in many mystics. On the start of a turn, he has a 25% chance to buff all of his status by 20% and also recover 3 BP. It's an old passive that is good when it triggers, but it's not reliable. The second one, Ailment Knowledge. On the end of every 3 turns counting from the start of battle, that means 3, 6, 9 and beyond, he will remove all status debuffs that were applied to your team and also cleans all status ailments. Well, this is actually pretty nice for a Platinum style, right? We have to compare him to 2 different styles. We have Farnews that has a premium version of this passive, as you can see here, Sea Lord Territory. He has way too many things here. He has that heat up that increases damage by different waves. He even has this defense drop effect, and he even has this all status buff to the party by 30%. So, of course, that's the difference between a premium style and a Platinum one. But they also work from every 3 turns from the start of battle. The other competition is Witch's Daughter. Why? Because Witch's Daughter has a very, very good skill. In that case, it's called Sweet Smell. For 8 BP, she will remove all status debuffs that were applied to your team. She does not cleanse, that's important, but she will buff your status by up to 25% on max level. So that's nice because sometimes you only need the part where you remove the debuffs that were applied in your team. So those are the most similar characters that we have right now. Then the last passive is called Hyper Robust Protect. Damage taking is reduced by 30% at all times and another 30% if he is on full HP. You can see that he is not a real damage dealer, he has 0 damage increase passives. Now, he has a spell called Absorb Plus. You need to use a Shadow Martial Arts weapon to increase the damage potential here. And it's a single target attack with Shadow and Cold damage, deep power and 10 mod. It's not that strong, but for the cost, he will also recover his HP by 1000 and buff his intelligence by up to 25% on max level. So for the cost, very nice. He will be using this here and there, so it increases his damage potential, even if not by much. Orluge also has a skill available in his second limited style. Now, skill number 2 is called Vitality Drain. It's a martial arts skill that uses STR and agility. So, it's a single target attack with S power, and when the attack lands, it will remove all status debuffs that got applied to your party, and also recover the HP of everyone by around 200. But why does he have this skill when it already exists in his passive? Well, because the passive only happens on the end of turn 3, 6, 9 and beyond, right? But let's say that you want to overdrive on turn 5 or on the start of turn 6, you have this option to just cleanse your status before you do damage, because a boss may sometimes debuff one of your primary offensive status, and sometimes it may just debuff Love and Charisma, and you can bring someone like, for example, Rag Robin or Chef Polka with Steel Blade Phoenix. They have delayed effects, so you will be able to remove the debuffs from Love and Charisma and then heal on full potential. But the skill is 6 BP, that means that you cannot use it all the time, but you can use it in between to just increase the debuff cleanse effect. Now, skill number 3 is Dark Wash Plus. This is a single target shadow spell. Again, it will need a shadow weapon in order to increase damage potential with triple S power and 66 mod. Now, when the attack lands, it removes all status buffs that your boss applied to itself. This spell, it's actually pretty common. We already have many characters with this. The first one was Global X Barbara, and she got it. Then after that, we could also amplify Dark Wash on Rouge, because he has that skill on his S style. And then you could also do it on Rock Bouquet. And she could also do it with her S style that now everyone has access to. And another character is also Red Mage, that is actually still okay as an damage dealer. And he has Dark Wash Plus as well. So, in the end, what differs Nusakan from all these characters is the combination of his kit. If you only want to remove boss's buff, use all of the other characters. But if that boss also applies status debuff to your party, use Nusakan, because he will just do it all together. But many of the times, if you summon it for Witch's Daughter, you're gonna use her unless you really need to cleanse status. Witch's Daughter is a very interesting character in the meta right now by just giving BP overdrive and also having access to multi-status buffs. But Nusakan is free. You'll be able to get him later when he gets added to the Platinum pool. Nusakan does not need inheritance, but he can find a heal skill from his first limited style called Mystic Wear. For free, but also 1 LP, you can recover, revive, and cleanse from poison. This one does not need Shadow Element. But Nusakan is pretty standalone, just like all the other characters from this banner. But it's not an emergency pull. You can just wait till you can pull for this character. He will receive an SS Plus grade by being such a useful character in a game where the options are usually premium. Now, back to the banner image. Is this banner worth summoning for? Well, I cannot say that it's a must-have. It's not a banner where you get too much value besides one main character. That is Blue. We had banners in the past with only one character that was really special, like UDX Silver, like, well, Arthur banner. He may have lots of competitors, but he's a really good STR damage dealer. But Blue right now is a buffer for a class that is not the strongest one that we have, unless you can take full advantage of Bertrand. And Time Lord is a side grade to Byunei. If you skip at her and don't plan on summoning there, then okay, you can take some value out of Time Lord, but he is a direct downgrade overall. And Nusakan is not an emergency pull. So here we get to a strange situation. If you want to pull, it will be for Blue. So I'll be giving this banner a Bronze Plus award, because Blue is just one character. Even though he is really good, you can just decide to wait and get him in a rerun banner. Even though he is a buffer that increases damage, this is not mandatory to clear content. Mandatory units are usually based on more utility than just increasing the damage potential of one character. Hence why it's also okay to skip. But that's my opinion. What is yours? Please see here on the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video. Please subscribe if you haven't, and if you want to support the channel, there are links in the description. I hope to see you soon in the next one. Bye.